Hey, welcome to the show. Here's how it's gonna go. I'm gonna review a new album for you. It's Artist on Record. Today's episode, Long Drive. Yep, Artist on Record. That's my new podcast, guys. I'm very new at this, so hopefully I won't get too tongue-tied. And if I do, I might edit it out, I might not. Who knows? We'll see. This week's episode is going to be about Jordan Taylor's album, Long Drive. It came out in June of 2015. Let's get into the review.
All by itself.
Waiting is the first track of the album. It's a very good opening. It introduces the idea of going on a journey with the person that you want to be in a relationship with, and wondering how that will work with the journey. The path that you want to go on and the person you want to go on with, seeing how those two intermix. Will it be distracting with the partner? Will they even stay for the whole thing, or will they just leave when it gets hard? It's juggling the two in your mind, wondering how it will work, wondering how it will work together, and can you even work together with it, with the purpose that you're meant to do. I relate to this. Thinking forward, I wonder how I would deal with this. Being in a relationship and going on the path that I'm meant to, how will I balance those? I don't know if it'd be very easy. So that makes the song very relatable. And musically, the song makes you very excited for the journey. And I think that journey is a very good one. Every detail. This is kind of at the point where you know someone really well, even though you're not in a relationship, though in your mind you might as well be in one. You kind of imagine yourself being in one with the person at this point, and kind of knowing what it would be like. You just know it can work. You just don't really have the confidence to actually ask them to join you on your journey and in this relationship. I've never gotten that close to a girl that I like at this point in my life. I'm only 17, so I've got plenty of time for that, but I've definitely imagined what it would be like to be in a relationship. Of course. I mean, most people have. And this song really does express that very well. You drop every priority to see her, and you just love having time to hang out with her. This song is just a very happy song. A lot of the songs are not as happy on this, though they give some hope. They're a lot more dark. The next one is not, though. The next one is This Moment. Let's get into that. This Moment is a song about the fun beginnings in your actual relationship, after in an actual relationship. and wanting to stay in that moment. One of the lines says, "You're in my car, so I'll drive real slow, 'cause when you're with me, I don't want this moment to go." And that really is the main message of the song, that you really want to slow down and just enjoy your initial beginnings of the relationship. And also wanting to stay at the point where you understand things. You don't want things to change as much, because you both just understand what each other means. And when you go through the hard times, you want it to be like this, but of course, it usually isn't at the start. The first hard times are a lot more difficult in relationships, sometimes when you're not prepared for them. Just having moments in general of pure joy is something everyone can relate to. You always want to stay in those moments if you're like hanging out with a friend that you're just really enjoying, or maybe you're listening to a song or worship music that you just have peace surrounding you. Stuff like that I've experienced. It's a very relatable song on that level. Wanting to stay in just this joyful bliss, and wanting to have that when you are in the hard times. And it's not that easy. The next song kind of goes along with that. Separation. Let's get into that. Separation is the fourth track on the song. This talks about the start of hard times in a relationship. It projects the struggles of wondering, is it even worth all this pain? The frustrations you have with the person you're in a relationship with, you don't know how to express. The song itself is very good at expressing frustration between both the guy and the girl, because Kelly, Josh Taylor's wife, Jordan's sister-in-law, sings on this as well for kind of the female thought process. They kind of want things to change, and they can't really help that. But they're frustrated with things just staying the same, not really moving forward in your struggles. Can either of them really express how they are feeling and work it out? Can we stay together? Do we need to stay together? And if not, why even try? The frustration this song puts out is something that I think most people can relate to, even if they haven't been in a relationship. Because families also get these types of frustrations. Not feeling understood and feeling like you can't express yourself in the proper way. It's a very good song that expresses just frustration. The next one is Listen. Let's get into it. Listen is a track where everything has become an act in your relationship. You're not really being truthful, and neither of you are very good at listening to each other when you are. You both are repeating the same things that you want each other to hear, but neither of you are really listening to it. Musically, this song is very entrancing. It's kind of a head-bopping song. You'll find yourself just kind of moving with it, despite it being a very dark song, at least emotionally. The way I kind of relate is it feels like things are just getting darker. You want to be heard, but you're not fully being truthful either. It's also an attempt to emotionally detach. That's kind of what I see in the song. One of the lines is, "It doesn't matter because the fact is it's probably too late." And to me, that speaks of emotional detachment, which is something I've struggled with a bit more over the last couple of years sometimes, with friends, my family sometimes, just because of different situations. It's not something that I would think I would be capable of because I'm very extroverted. But it's easy to emotionally detach when you think you won't see a friend for a long time or in a tough situation where you just don't want to get hurt. And that's kind of how I feel I can relate to the song. Very good song. The next one is a little bit lighter, but also kind of has a sad tone underlying it, though it is one of my favorites on the album. The next song is Need Each Other. Let's get into that. Need Each Other is the realization that you've ignored a lot of the people around you while you've been in your relationship. Journey-wise, the song in general is about just realizing that you haven't been around people a lot that you need to be around, but still being a bit too prideful to go back and talk to the people that you need to talk to. The song adds some piano, which gives it a bit of a softer instrumentation, which is a very nice thing to add. The way I kind of relate to this song is it's really easy to be too prideful to go to friends or family that you need to talk to, even though you know you need to talk to them for one reason or another. And this song expresses that very well. The next song is Home. So let's get into that. Home is a search in personal identity. Your foundations, if you will. Is that really your home? The place you grew up in. It doesn't feel like home at the moment in this song. And you don't really want to go back there. You want to find somewhere else you feel like you can fit in. But you're not sure where that is. And it's painful to look back on where you once called home. You do feel called back to where you once called home, but it's hard to want to. And through the process of this song, you realize that it's okay to look back on the pain of that home, and that you do kind of need to go back there, even though you don't want to. It is a very country / folky sounding song, and I kind of like that. Most of the songs don't sound like that, and they also added a violin, which helped that along. So it's a very nice, bouncy song. Very fun to listen to. For me, the way I relate to it is it's very easy to feel that you've lost your foundation and not being sure of where that is. Just as Christian growing up, you have to re-establish those foundations for yourself that you were taught at a young age. And in a way, that song really does talk about that, and it's a process I'm going through right now, so it hits very close to home. It's a very good song. Let's move on to the next one. The track name of the album, Long Drive. This one gets a bit darker. Let's get into it. Long Drive is at the point where you feel weighed down by all of your thoughts and having to come to grips with that you've almost lost your identity. You don't really know who you are. That's what one of the lines even says, I don't know myself anymore. And it feels like he's in a car, because you can also hear rain pattering down, almost like it's on the car roof or on the windshield. I mean, most of the songs sound like you're in a car. Jordan says it himself about the album. And this one probably is the most car-feeling like song, if that makes sense. The way he feels weighed down, he also feels like he's just wasted time. All the time that you have, to him in this song, and people listening to this song, it expresses just the wasted time that everyone has dealt with to try and process things. You are not using your time properly to get through this. It's almost as if he is emotionally in tears. In his mind, he is in tears almost. It's not picked up through his voice, but more through the words. The music almost drags, as if you are trying to pick yourself up and move forward, but without knowing how to, like you're going through mud. And it's not dragging in a way that makes the song sound bad. It's a way of projecting the feeling of just being depressed and not knowing your identity and not knowing where to go and just feeling weighed down by everything. Not really being able to see past your old mistakes. And honestly, everything I just said is pretty much how I relate to this song. As I've gotten older, these things, there are just experiences that weigh you down. I've had to learn to fight off anxiety and allergies at the same time. That can become very depressive, especially in my case, because it all hit me at once in 2018. And I've had to learn how to deal with that and not just let myself be dragged down by it. And this song expresses that type of feeling very well. The rain is a very nice touch to the song as well. Feet of Shadows, just right at the beginning, you feel the edge, the almost fragility, I think I said that right, of the relationship that has been going on. Partially because they added an electric guitar, so the instruments really express how fragile things feel. And not really knowing how to keep things together because you still feel so fragile yourself. You don't know how to keep this relationship alive when you're barely holding on yourself to anything of your personality and your foundations. but you also realize that you really need to stop the blame game on what's been going on. It doesn't really matter whose fault it is that the relationship took dark turns. And asking the person to join you in the pain of figuring out how to fix it, no matter how hard it is. This song really is the final tension of this relationship before you can almost sigh. Because the relationship itself at this point is not explored further. The next 3 songs are more personal. Getting used to your own identity and getting to a better place. Reflection is a very beautiful instrumental. All the instrumental parts of this album are very good, though with Reflection you get to really focus on it. It's almost like a big sigh musically after Feet of Shadows. It's a very reflective feeling song, as the title suggests. It gives a brighter tint to things near the end. Even if the okay isn't what you think it would be, things will be okay. Even if you went wrong in a lot of areas to get to this process. A very good instrumental, and I don't have much else to say about it because there's no words. It's just very beautiful. The next track is Don't Let Me Go. Probably my favorite of all the songs. Let's get into it. Don't Let Me Go is a song that picks up right from Long Drive, because you are still in that state of dwelling on your mistakes and pleading almost with God to not let this be the end for you. The song is very sorrowful, but at the same time, it projects a hope for tomorrow. The song also projects not feeling worthy, but hoping God will still have mercy for you. That things will get better, even though you know that things will have to get darker in a sense before it gets lighter again. One of the lines that talks about that in the song is, I know you know just where I am, but the sun doesn't rise before it sets. That's actually the last line of the song. And that is very hopeful, even if it's hard. I relate to this song so much. It is my favorite ever since I've found this song in 2016. The whole album in 2016, really. This song especially has been an anchor for me because so many times I've felt unworthy of grace and forgiveness. And this song just projects that so well. It's comforting. Because in this song it also has hope, even though you don't feel worthy. And with all my struggles, this song has just been the best for me. And it's why it's my favorite. Now we move on to the final track, which is technically a bonus track, but it also kind of goes along in the journey, even if it wasn't meant to originally. Beginning is another instrumental track. It's very good. It feels almost as if a new journey has begun after Don't Let Me Go. Even though it wasn't meant to be that originally, because Jordan wrote this song beforehand and wasn't really meant to be a part of it. For me, it does seem like a new beginning for a brighter journey and a new chapter in your life. It's very beautiful, like all the others, and it's hopeful. Very good track. Now for my overall thoughts on the album. Let's get into that. Long Drive is a very good album. It's about a beautiful story that intertwines a relationship with someone and the personal struggles that come out of that. It also accentuates the pain of relationships. Even though the relationship would be worth it, it's so painful. The ups and downs and everything that happens in it. It's just a very beautiful album. I don't know if I can really rate this objectively, though I guess that's not what rating is for. For me, it is, I hesitate to say 10 out of 10 because there's always going to be more music, but for me, I'd say it is a 10 out of 10 album, and I would definitely listen to it. You should listen to it. And that was my review on Long Drive. Thank you for joining me on my first episode. It is probably really awkward, and I don't know how people are going to respond to it, but that's okay, because this is a learning experience. And I will get better at this, and there will probably be a lot of better episodes to listen to by the end of this year when I'm doing this podcast. But I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Artist on Record. Goodbye.